What is up, guys? ClimaxCombo here with another video. I'm Licious Kid.
I'm Checkers.
And today we're going to be doing another deck analysis, this time featuring Overlord, really strong deck in the Japanese meta, recently hit by the recent Japanese ban list. However, still very powerful. The Japanese players were able to find a way to make up for the losses from the ban list, and the core game plan is still there and still very powerful. Just like the other videos in this deck analysis series, we're just going to go skim over the deck, go over the general game plan, go over important cards, and just give you guys a sample list. If you guys want a real list, there's so many Overlord lists out. I'm sure you can find one pretty easily. But Checkers, what is the point of this deck?
So first of all, it is a combo deck. The level 3 Eins is the main combo. And you are trying to bring him out early. It takes a bit of setting up to do. There's a few pieces, and it takes a couple turns, but he can blow up your opponent's entire board. But that's not all. He can do a bunch of other things. He can heal, he can burn. He is the star of the show. And yeah, the deck's completely made to pop off at level 2.
Very cool. So guys, here's a sample list. A lot of the lists kind of look like this. This is the general deck. You can tech in a couple extra cards, change up the ratios, but this is pretty much the core of the list. So, to start things off, we have the level 3 Eins himself, the whole point of the deck. This guy is pretty overloaded. He's got so much text on him, but pretty much he combos with the gold bar. When you play the gold bar, if he's in the front row, if you have another grotesque race or Nazareth character, which all of them are, you heal one, then you choose one of the 3 effects and resolve it. The first effect, you choose up to 5 1/1 black gold events in your waiting room and place them underneath him face up as a marker. Second effect, you send all markers underneath him to memory. Choose X of your opponent's characters, send it to the waiting room where X is equal to the number of cards sent to memory by this effect. And lastly, you can deal 1 damage to your opponent, and this card gets plus 2k for the turn. So, honestly, really overloaded card. I don't know why he heals already, but the other effects are great. So the idea behind this Eins is that you can get him out of level 2 with another card we'll go over later, but pretty much you get him out of level 2, you combo once, you get the 5 markers, and you put it underneath him. Next turn, you gold bar again, and then you send all the markers underneath him to memory, and then you blow up your opponent's board because you're going to run 5 of those black goats. If you saw on the sample list, you can run 5 of them. You send all 5, you kill everything. And then after that, you try to quickly close out the game, either with the black goat event that we'll go over later, or with his third effect. Or just good old direct attacks. They don't have any board left. So you're taking extra damage, and you're running gold bar, so that's even more damage. So that's kind of the idea behind this Eins.
Yeah, it completely swings the game into your favor. No matter what your opponent has, you can just get rid of them. You screw over your opponent's game plan completely, and it doesn't really cost that much, to be honest. So it's this card's insane.
This card alone is insane, but as we go on, as you see the support, it gets that much cooler. For you, not for them.
So, the first main support card for the level 3 Eins is this 1/1 Eins. He makes all of your 1/1 events -1 cost. He's a level multiplier in front. Any combos with the same gold bar. When the gold bar is placed in your climax area, choose one of your level 3 Eins from before, and this turn, it gets 4,500 power. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, it gains the following 2 abilities. The first effect, during your opponent's turn, this cannot be targeted by your opponent's effects, and the second one is during your opponent's turn, this card's battle opponent, and this card cannot be reversed. So, ultimately, you can make one level 3 Eins completely unkillable. Your opponent cannot do a single thing to deal with it, for the most part. And it kind of guarantees that he'll stick around for the next turn. It guarantees his combo, set up the markers, pull it off again the next turn. It gives him a ton of power. With this card alone, he becomes 16k, which he can kill anything. It's just an insane card to pair up with that level 3 Eins.
And if you thought that wasn't overtuned enough, we got more cards to support the Eins. So this is the 1/1 event that we're talking about that synergizes with the level 3 Eins. Got a lot of text on it. The first one, you can play 5 of them, like we said. The other effect, if you do not control an Eins in his name, you cannot play this card. Third effect, you choose one character in your waiting room, add it to your hand, then choose one of your characters, it gets plus 1k. Last effect, if this card is in your memory, at the start of your encore phase, if it's a 3/2 Eins, you can pay 1, discard a card. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So this card is pretty overloaded. It would be pretty balanced if the 1/1 Eins didn't make it cost free. But because with the 1/1 Eins it's free, so you could just salvage things, make things stronger, and then end the game with it after you do Eins' combo. Because if you remember, the level 3 Eins, you send all the markers to memory, and it fills the last condition of the 1/1 event. The only thing you really have to keep in mind with this 1/1 event is if you trigger them, you want to pay them out because you want to have as much of these in the waiting room for Eins' level 3 combo. That's really it. The 0/0 Eins is also very important to this deck. If you're level 2 or higher, he gains the following effect of you can pay 1, discard a card, send this card to the waiting room. If you do, choose a level 3 Eins from your hand and place it on the former slot on stage. The second effect is also really good. At the start of your opponent's attack phase, you can pay 1, clock yourself, bounce it back to your hand, choose one of your other characters, and bounce it back to your hand. So keeps up the hand size, and of course, you can cheat out the level 3 Eins at level 2. So all of this together makes it very overwhelming and very powerful. And the Eins other effect is good too. Pay 1, balancing yourself, saving hand size is really good effect.
Preserve the early game.
I hate these effects.
Now we shall go over the other combo in the build, the level 1 Shouter that comes with the door. 4k base. During your turn, this gets plus 2k power. And ClimaxCombo at the end of this card's attack. If you have the door climax in your climax area, you have 2 or more other Grotesque or Nazareth characters, and the slot across from this has either no character or a reverse character, choose up to 1 character from your waiting room, add it to hand. Then you may send this to memory. If you do, at the start of your next draw phase, choose one of these cards in your memory and place it on stage in any slot. Overall, it's an okay combo. 6k is all right, but you're going to start having trouble reversing things as the game progresses, but it's really here just to kind of keep you in the early game, replenish your hand as much as possible. You're going to need a lot of hand later. This can set up a couple combo pieces. It keeps itself around for 1 turn, so you can have another attacker the next turn, and you have door trigger. I mean, it gets you there.
Yeah, the door trigger is important for this deck with the loss of the banned Shouter. Hand size is very important now in this set, so the door trigger really helps with that, but it's pretty meh combo. On to some other key cards of the deck. First of all, we got the 0/0 Shouter. Brainstormer. This card helps you mill through your deck fast. The only downside of this card is that it's a pay 1, rest 2 brainstorm, but you do get to mill 5, which is really good. And the first effect, you get to mill more at the start of your climax phase, which is really good. That 1 extra mill does make a difference. And if you have 2 of these Shouters in the back, you fulfill both of their conditions. And at the start of your climax phase, you can mill 2 every turn, which is just really nice before your first refresh. So with these 2 in the back, and you have 2 of these in the back, you can mill 7, 1 from the brainstorm, and then 1 from each of their effects, which is really good.
And the Albedo, during your turn, 1k power. And Clean Cut, just a useful card to kind of fill up your lineup and keep your hand up early, preserve your attackers. Final 2 cards for the build that we'll go over. This 2/1 Yuri. If you have 4 or more other Grotesque or Nazareth characters, this gets plus 6k power, making her 10k base with the full field. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, if you have 2 or more other characters, you may draw 2. If you do, discard 2. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, if you have 4 or more other characters, choose 1 Grotesque race or Nazareth character in your waiting room, send it to stock, or you may send it to stock. Overall, this card is really useful. Attacker to play. 10k is fine. And you can draw into more climaxes and more events for your level 3 Eins combos. And it's costless because it will replace your stock. So pretty good card. And lastly, the level 0 Eins. In red, first effect, when this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, discard a card to search your deck for a character. The second effect is when this card is reversed, If all of your characters are Grotesque Race or Nazarick, you can put the top card of your deck into your clock. And if you do, look at the top 2 cards. Up to the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a level 1 or lower character or event among them, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. Another card, useful card for setting up your hand, and the most important thing is that this can actually grab events with the second effect on top of being able to plus. So just really useful for setting up your game.
And that about does it for this deck.
Mm-hmm.
This deck is pretty powerful. You have a lot of good utility zeros.
Mm-hmm.
The level 1s are okay. They can reach a bit more power with the 1/1 event, but so Shaltier can kind of get there with the help of the 1/1 events that's essentially free with the Ainz. Level 2 is when hell breaks out for your opponents. I mean, look at that delicious 17,500 number. I mean, like, when do you even see numbers that high anymore? But that's when your opponent stops having fun. You combo over 2 turns, and you just try to close out the game really quickly after that with the Black Goat 1/1 events in memory. And at level 3, it's the same game plan, honestly. Just try to close out the game as soon as you can.
Yep.
After you do the board wipe combo, most decks, honestly, like, it's just too hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
And then you try not to give them a chance to rebuild their board and set up their own game plan after you blow it up with Ainz. Most decks has no real outplay against his Ainz because he's hexproof and irreversible. That's, as we mentioned in our slime deck analysis. Check it out if you haven't seen that.
Ooh.
That deck is powerful because it's powerful and your whole board is hexproof, so Ainz can only kill the hexproof assist.
Yep.
So, but like we said, it's very specific. Like, not every deck has tools like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really hard to beat, and it's really hard to stop.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yes.
The one thing about it is the early game has a ton of cards that free up your front row. So you will be taking a ton of damage early. But it's a trade-off for having such an immense turning point in the game at level 2.
Is that the new meta? Just blow up at level 2? We talked about Slime's power spike at level 2.
Yeah, level 2
Oski Gura, level 2.
Well, it's all about level 2
Overlord,
right
level 2, huh? The level 2 is now the new level 3. Level 3 is too late. Level 2 is where it's at now.
Pretty much.
But overall, really cool list. Maybe you might get hit again after the ban list. Who knows?
Maybe.
Because it's still extremely powerful after the ban list. So
what this Ainz does is kind of crazy.
They're kind of high when they honestly. And them getting hit clearly hasn't changed anything. So still cool.
Hope you guys enjoyed another deck analysis video. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.